Hello, my name is Greg and welcome to an office with a view. Today, my boys are getting an upgrade to their bachelor pad. Here's the old and there's the new. And the reason I decided to do the bucks is typically males are a lot more dominant species and they deserve nicer things. All right, next on the list, I'm going to expand my rabbits a little bit. I have 2 bucks, and I just kept this guy because I like him. Here will be my breeding buck as soon as he's old enough, so I might keep him for a pet. I don't know. I want to get a couple of more does. I don't know if that was the rat or a sheep. All right, so here we have the Pets Lodge rabbit cage. I really wanted the 36 by 30, but all they have was the 30 by 36. That's okay. I have room for it, so we're good. The bottom, you can always tell it's a little bit stouter and the stays are a little closer together. That's because it's supporting the weight of the rabbit. And then these are the side walls, obviously they only fit one way since they're different sizes. If you get a 30 by 30, obviously it doesn't matter which one goes where. So we're gonna see how quickly we can get this thing together. I've got a lot to get done. If you haven't used cage pliers, it's kind of like a J. See, there's the bottom of the J. The top is just a lowercase j. You put the one with the kind of hoop in the bottom where it has 2 clips on the pliers. See if we can get that to focus. So you see that one side has 2 clips, the other side has 1 clip. There's a little bit of a trick to doing it. See if I can do it one-handed. And that is you put it there, and then you watch and kind of rotate to make sure, I'm waiting for the camera to focus, the J part of the clip gets right over top. There we go. That second cage wire. These will spin around when they're done. That's the only tricky part to it. Once you do a couple of them, it's not too difficult. I find it a whole lot less frustrating just to put one zip tie on there to help you get started. I'm going to give you a little tip. The key to getting these to go on easy and smoothly is to have the wires that you're crimping as close together as possible. If you look at this welded wire, these pieces of wire, all of them are on top. So if you flip them over and put them on the bottom, that puts an additional space in between these 2 pieces of wire. And what I mean is if you take a look at this one, I'll put these wires at the bottom, and then you'll see as close as you can get those wires is the width of that bottom wire that's welded on there. If you do it the way that I just explained, you'll see that there's literally no space. So they clip right on easy peasy. So all the welded wire goes to the top, and that'll make your job as a rabbit cage assembly person easier. Sort of. Although my fingers are starting to crimp up. All right, these particular doors flip up like that. You could do it so they open that way, but I like this design better. The only thing I don't like about this door design, and it's easy enough to fix, but they only come with 1 latch. So if you have this latched in the center, a raccoon can pull that out. So easy enough to fix. I'll just get a little carabiner and throw on there. And if these were going to stay in the barn, I'm not too worried about it because I put Casper in here probably once a week or so. And I think his scent does a good job at keeping any predators out. I think I'm going to lower that one. I'm not certain it needs to be that tight. I bought another feeder. I don't know what I did. I mean water. That's really the only place I've ever scraped my hand. I'm going to reinforce this bottom. So this probably has enough on it. I'm going to put a little zip tie on each of these springs because no doubt the time it would fall off would be the time I'm feeding in a hurry and it's in the tall grass and I can't see it anywhere. All right. I've got to a point where I don't order anything online unless I absolutely have to. because it always comes back wrong. About the last 10 things I ordered online, as soon as I order it, it says there's a delay in shipping. So I'm just about done with that little craze. That's obviously the side with the door. Here is the door. I was hoping they gave 4 of these. We'll see. Looks like we only got one. That's probably for the bottom. I assume this one is the bottom. These are the 36-inch sides. That'll go right here. I'm going to go ahead and lay them this way. I missed that one. I think I missed the door. See, we might as well go ahead and put the feeder and the water in there. If you are new to rabbits, do yourself a favor. Do not get this kind of water. If you manually water, like I do, every day or nearly every day, depending on the time of year, it gets to be a pain taking this thing off, taking the cap off, filling it back up, and hooking it back up. This is the way to do it, where you can come by, open the lid, top it off, and you're done. So I have mostly those type waters. I bought one to swap that one out. I'm going to keep that one as my grow out cage if I don't put them in a rabbit tractor. Can't find my marker. Gonna see if these will cut it. Okay. Let me raise this a little bit. You have to be ergonomically correct when you're putting together rabbit cages. Here's the old. I've got to put my gloves on because these rabbits aren't used to being put on the ground and then handled to put in a new cage. I really don't want to be all scratched up, although I don't think my buddy will hurt. Now this guy might. I was just kidding. All right, I'm gonna go get the tractor so I can get this manure and hay out of here. Get this out to the compost, all this wonderful manure. Let's go dump this. I have to lock down my bucket all the way. There's a chance of thunderstorms later this afternoon, so I want all that manure on top, and I'll flip this tomorrow. We see we got the new bachelor pad set up. Got water feeders. These are a lot neater and more organized looking than my old ones. And the reason I decided to do the bucks is typically males are a lot more dominant species and they deserve nicer things. Possibly, or these just make nice little nesting boxes when the does go to have their kits. Maybe that was the reason why. So I think she got bred, maybe. We just had one fall off. Got one finally. So I'm anxious to see, well, about 20 days from now, or I'll probably palpate her. I think they say at about 10 or 12 days you can feel the kits. I'm not sure if she did get bred with one fall off. It's kind of hit or miss. So we'll see what happens. But right now, I want to get my bushhog on. And I just finished bushhogging the back field. And it didn't sound right. It sounded like there was something hung up under there. So I'll see you in a minute. Somehow this cotter pin has popped out of here. There you go. Look at how bent that thing is. I don't even know if that can be straightened and keep the threads lined up. All right, let's see if that'll allow it to lift up. Well, yep, that'll do it. Well, at least it's nothing major. Hey, the rain stopped. Okay, let's get this. Wonder if I'll sharpen the blades from below there or get them out. Always wear eye protection. I'm blind in my left eye, so I can't afford to lose any vision in my right. That's what was making that dragging sound. I'm not gonna take that blade off just to cut that piece out. You see, this one is free and this one moves. It's just a little tight, so I believe that'll work its way out once it gets hung up on something or whatever. All right, I think that's gonna cut without having a drag on it now. Yeah, that moves, it's just a little tight, so that's gonna bust free as soon as it gets in some tall grass or something. The next thing I have to do today, go in and get a quick bite to eat. The John Deere Gator needs some work done to it, and I don't have time to do it this week or within the next 2 weeks, so I'm going to take that to a guy right down the road that works on these things. So let's get that loaded on the trailer. So I'm going to try to get that trailer over here since there's a little drop in elevation. That looks a little more better. One thing that's very important when you are loading vehicles, especially when they're not under power, is to make sure that your ramps are lined up perfectly. Or close might be good enough. Well, my come along is broke. I think I have another one. I don't know how downhill I am. You gotta be ready for this thing to come rolling forward. 2 more pulls. Well, I didn't look, but this is the boom I found out in the field. Still has a little mud in it. I'm just going literally less than 2 miles down the road, so I'm not too worried about tying this thing down. Chain's too big, it's too short. I need one that's just right. Is that tight enough? I think so. All right. Wanted to let some weight off of that brake so we can tighten up that back chain a bit. I know the internet police are going to be all over me for not having 4 points of tie down. I'm going all of about 1.2 miles. And Casper just got a view of the neighbor's dog. So this is ready to go. Check out Casper's nose. See all the flies on there? I think what's happening is when he's in with the goats and he's protecting the food, he kind of lunges and growls at them and they pull away. And I think the horns are catching his nose and it's making it raw. But earlier I had him off the leash while the neighbor dog wasn't around, and a friend of mine pulled up to the gate and he texted me and he said, there's a polar bear that just got done eating a seal barking at me at the gate. I've been using that red coat for about 3 days, so hopefully in the next day or two we'll start seeing some improvements. All right, let's get this thing turned around. All right, I told you I'm going out of town next week. The week after I get back, we're gonna go ahead and process these 23 birds I think we have. Last year, I processed, I think it was 72 chicken meat birds, and I plucked them all by hand. And I told myself after about the 55th one, I'm never doing that again. The week after I get back, I rented a plucker. My setup now isn't bad. It's just the plucking that takes so long and it's monotonous. And I've never really met anyone who enjoys plucking feathers off of a chicken. I'm very excited to rent that machine, and I need to get all these done in one day. I'm going to have to adapt the way that I did it. Usually I do 5 at most in a day, but for consecutive days it gets really old really quick. So I am going to have to modify how I do 23 or whatever it is in a day. So I'm going to be thinking about that while I'm out of town. As always, thanks for watching.